Today, I'm going to show you how to get fusion parts for any car in CSR2. What's going on, guys? It's the GameExploiter here, and today I am going to show you how to get those fusion parts for any car in the game. I'm going to cover a shotgun method where we can gather fusion parts for every single car in the game. I'm also going to cover a more specific method where we can choose a specific manufacturer. So let's say you wanted Bugatti fusion parts only. I'm going to show you how to do that. Or let's say you wanted a specific fusion part for a specific manufacturer. Let's say you wanted the tire fusion part for the Bugatti again. Make it blue or pink or green, whichever one. We can specifically tell it which part we want, and we can add those to the win line. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So first thing we're going to do is get GameGuardian installed on your device. Now, if you want to know how to install it on a non-rooted Android device, you can go ahead, check out the link in the description or popping up on the screen right now. If you have a rooted device, you could just install GameGuardian, it'll work just fine. You could also use Nox or LD Player or BlueStacks. These are all Android emulators. I'm using Nox on my PC now to record. It all works exactly the same on an emulator as it does on any sort of Android phone. You could also convert this to iOS using iGameGuardian if you wanted to as well. It'll all work the same, although with iGameGuardian I do know it is a little bit more fiddly to try and track down the locations, but you can go ahead and ask on my Discord if you get stuck with iGameGuardian. There's plenty of guys on there who could talk you through it, and hopefully in the future I will get a video up showing you how to use iGameGuardian doing it as well. But for now, we've got our GameGuardian installed. We're going to choose our race, what we're going to add the parts to. So this time I'm going to use the Restoration Cup. I'm going to pick this race because it's got a good mix of amounts, different prizes we can win. So legend coins, gold coins, cash. I don't know if it's cash actually yet. Fusion parts. You could also do it on, let's say, Amelia's challenge if you have these sort of challenges going. Again, see, they've got a good mix of prizes. That's what you want. Or you could use the supercar science like I've done in the past couple of videos. Again, you could change these. What you probably can't do it with is ladder races with these specific just cash results, or regulation races and things like that. So we want a good mix like this. And what we're going to do is open up our GameGuardian and make sure it's connected to CSR2 as always, and we are going to do our initial search by clicking the search button up there. And if I just go back to the race, this is what we're going to search for. So we're going to search for, in my case, yours will be different, but mine, I'm going to search for the race number now. So you search for your race number. So for me, it's going to be 13, and then I'm going to search for 1000, 14, 5, 15, and 4. That should be enough to narrow it down. So we're going to go 13, and then it says semicolon, and I've already forgotten the number. It was 1000, I think. Yep. And then a semicolon again, and then we're going to type in 14 for race number 14 on mine, and it's 5. Oh, semicolon 5, and then another semicolon, and then it's 15, and then the final number was semicolon and 4. And then we're going to click the little question marks there and choose D word, and then hit new search. Okay, so we've got our results, 216 it says at the bottom there. So I'm going to open up GameGuardian again and go ahead and just type in 1000 for me. I'm picking the highest number out of my search results, out of my search list there, because there's going to be less 1000s than there is going to be. Let's say there was a 1 there, there's billions of 1s in the game. So I'm choosing the higher number I can find in my search. I'm just going to hit refine, and I've got 98 results still. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and make sure they're all selected. So make sure it shows 100. If you've got more than 100 results, increase this here to whatever, so you can select them all. So if you had a 1500 results, you shouldn't really change 1500, but you could do by changing that to 1500 there, and then selecting them all by deselecting and reselecting. So I'm going to go ahead, click the change button, and then I'm going to hit the more button. It's got increments there. I'm going to set an increment of 1, and that's going to increase all my results by 1. I'm then going to close out GameGuardian and close the game, and then the race, and then open the race up, and I'm going to see that my 1000 has changed to 1034. So go back to GameGuardian, scroll down the list, find 1034 and deselect it. That was 35. And then once it's deselected, go ahead, hit the trash can, delete, and then remove and revert. and then we're going to click on our final result and hit the go to button. Now we're here, what we're going to do is change this to the number of fusion parts that we actually want to add. So we're going to select the two results, what would be 1,000. So we're going to see our race number and then the two amounts there. So what I'm going to do is just change both of these amounts to, let's just say 250 for now. And as you can see, they both changed to 250. Now if we scroll up, if we did want to change the rest of these, so that 5 in the background there, or this 4, if I was to scroll up, I would see there's the 5, so this is race 14, and there's the 2 5, so I'll change to increase the gold. And if we keep scrolling up, there's race 15 and the 2 4s to increase the fusion parts, that right there. But for now, all I wanted to do was set those numbers, and what I'm going to do is scroll down just underneath the race number 13. I've got this longer number. I'm going to long press on that, and I'm going to click go to pointer. So now we're at the pointer. This is where we can change what each prize is. So in this case, it's 22 for legend coins. If it was cash, it'd be 1. If it was gold, it'd be 2. If it was keys, bronze keys, it would be 7, I think. I want fusion parts, so fusion parts are 13. So I'm going to type in 13, and what I'm going to do is just close that out and just minimize the game and open it back up. The race, should I say? And as you can see, I've now got 250 pink fusion parts. So what I could do, it's pink because this is at 0 here. So just underneath where we changed it to 13, we have a long number, then we have a 7, and then we have a 0. This 0 is our fusion part color. So if I wanted to change this to green, I would set it to 1. As you can see, green. And then if I wanted to change it to blue, it would be 2. And then even though it was on pink before at 0, the actual pink code should be 3. So if you wanted pink fusion parts, make sure you change it to 3. And that is the correct code for the pink fusion parts. So what would happen now, if I was to run this race and win it, what I would do is get a mixture of pink fusion parts for every single car manufacturer in the game. So I might get 1 for the Koenigsegg, 2 for a Bugatti, 5 for a Ford, 1 for whoever else. You know, it just goes on like that. It's random. So if you wanted to get a specific fusion part, it'd be a bit of a lottery whether you would actually get the part you wanted. So what we could do is specify which part we wanted by changing another number in the game. So what I'm just going to do is just close this out. In fact, I'll leave that right there, and I'm going to jump over to a screenshot I took earlier with a little bit of some numbers on there. So what we're going to see, this is how it works for the numbers, what we had on the screen. So there's the 1s for the greens, the 2s for the blues, and the 3s for any pinks. So if you type that in with a 7, you would get any one of these parts in with a 1 and a 7. So let me just go back, 7 there. If I just jump back over to the race into GameGuardian, just above you'll see 7 there. So that 7 is the 7 what we would change on this section here. So 7 encompasses all these fusion parts. So if I was to change that 7 over here in GameGuardian to a 0, although nothing changes on the race here for the fusion parts, you don't see anything really different there. That would actually give me 250 pink pistons for any random car in the game. So across the 250 manufacturers, across the manufacturers, you would get 250 of these spread out across them all. So you get a bit more specific there, but again, it's still a little bit of a shotgun method. You may want that part for a specific car, and you might not get it even though you've added 250. So we could specify the manufacturer that we wanted. So let's say we've decided we wanted, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at the pink and the 0. What we would do is we would need to change the car manufacturer. Now, if you've seen my other videos where we add cars to the win line, this number here would be where we would add our car code. So it's the same with the manufacturer. We need to add the manufacturer code, and it's different to the car code. If you was to put a car code in there, it doesn't work. You would just still get random pink parts for random cars. So I'm going to show you how we find the manufacturer. Now it's very similar to, I'll just save this. So make sure it's selected and just click the save button so we can get back to this in a bit. because I'm going to have to clear out my search to find this manufacturer. So what I'm going to do is go back and find the car code like we would do. So if you know how to find the car codes and you're happy with that, you can go ahead, skip forward, and I'll show you where the manufacturer code is once we found the car code. It's right next to it, or pretty much it's like 2 up, I think. So you should have no problems if you've done this before. So here we are. So we're in the garage. What I'm going to do is go to Legends. Now you could do this in any section of any like car section, choosing garage, whatever you would call them. But I'm going to do it in Legends. If you've got Boss or Legends still, they're ideal because these garages don't change. They don't add more cars to those, so the numbers are always going to be the same. So in this case, I know this is always 0, so the Boss 302 is always 0, the DB5 is always 1, the GTO 250 is always 2, and so on. So what we're going to do is search for those numbers going up. So what I'll do is just choose the DB5, open up GameGuardian, and I'm just going to search for 1. Make sure you hit new search so it clears out the old one. Now there's a lot of ones in the game, as I said before, 2.5 million of them. So what I'm going to do is just go up to the next one and search for 2, because that is the next one up the list. Refine, and up one more, and then make that 3, and refine, and then we'll go back down. Two, and refine. So we've got 100 results at the minute. So let's go to 1 and refine, and 0. This should probably be the last search I'll have to do. Let's see what we're down to. 5 results, that'll do, so that's perfect. So what we'd normally do now is, if I was going for a car code, I would just go through each one of these, and we're looking for this exact thing, I think. So what I'm looking for is something with a couple of zeros in the Ford Cup, and then a 7, and then a purple number here, a long number here. So if I was to click this, change it, but don't actually change it, just leave it as it is and click yes, it's going to save the original code there. And then if I move over to the side to the next car, what I'm going to see is this number's changed for the new car code. This is the same, so it has changed. This is the car code, so we're at the right section. Now if we go, I think it's this one here is actually the manufacturer code. Now because we're not in a manufacturer's garage, we're in like a mixture in the Legend garage. We've got a 0 there, but if I was to go over to the Koenigsegg, let's say, once it opens, and then if I go back into here, as you can see, there we go, this is the garage code. So the garage code has now been filled in, and what I could do is just go ahead and hit save on that D word, and that'll be in my save section right there, and as you can see it right there. I could also just long press on it and copy the value, so I've got it saved as to my clipboard as well. But that is all we need to do now, is add that manufacturer code into the car code section of the race, and that will change the fusion parts for that specific manufacturer. So I'm back into the race, as you can see. So I'm going to open up GameGuardian. I'm going to go back to my save results. This is the 250 that I saved of the original search. So just click on that and hit the go to button again. It's not gone to it, so I'm just going to click it again. You know if it's gone to it because you'll have a yellow bar like this. So then I'm going to go 2 down to the purple number and long press and hit the go to pointer. And then just underneath where I've changed it to 13 for the fusion parts, this is where we would paste in the manufacturer code. So if you haven't already copied it, you would go over to your save section, long press on here and hit copy the value, and then back into the memory section, click on the car code, hit D word and just press Control and V, or you could long press it and paste it, click yes. And then what we should see when I now refresh this is the manufacturer in there. So now when I win this race, or go for this race, I should get 250 pink piston parts. Now you don't necessarily need 250 pink Koenigsegg piston parts, but I'll do it just so we can see, to illustrate the point. I'll also quickly speed through. I'm going to add the I'll add the blue parts because I know I've got no Koenigsegg parts, or I've only got one Koenigsegg part. So what I'll do is I'll add 1,000 blue Koenigsegg parts, but just random across the entire spectrum, so you can see how many sort of parts you would get for that as well. So I'll cut it forward now after I've got that added. Okay, so there you go, I'm back, and as you can see I've added the 1,000 blue Koenigsegg parts, and I'll just go into GameGuardian so you can see what I've changed again. So I've changed the item code, it was gold, so I've changed it to fusion parts. Then I've changed the manufacturer code, put that in there. Then it's 7 to encompass all of the fusion parts, so 7 for them all. And then it's 2 for the blue fusion parts, which is there. So that's all we're going to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'll quickly win the 250 parts, and then we'll come back. We'll have a look at those in the garage, and then I'll quickly win the 1,000 so you can see what you get there. Okay, so we just won the race, and as you can see, here we go with our 250 parts, and you can see they're all the piston, and they're all Koenigsegg. Now, if you're on your Android phone, this is going to take a while to go through and show you each one. So what you can do is click the back button. There's the back arrow. You can just about see it there, just behind my camera. The back arrow for Nox, and I'm going to click that, and that will cancel the going through the win. If you're on an iPad or iOS device, you would have to actually kill the game to skip this, or else you'd be waiting all day long. So what I'm going to do is click the back arrow, and then we'll jump to the garage just to see them in the garage. Okay, so there you go. As you can see, 250 Koenigsegg parts, and they're all the pink piston, as we said. So what I'll do now is we're going to skip forward again, and I'll come back, and what we're going to do is win the 1,000 blue random parts, and we can see how that spreads across this section here for 1,000 parts. Okay, so there we go. We've got our 1,000 parts, and as you can see, these are going to scroll through my Koenigsegg, but they're going to be different parts each time. So again, what I'm going to do is, rather than wait for 1,000 parts to be rewarded, I'm just going to hit the little back button at the back right here. I know it went to a black screen there for you, but just at the back button here to skip that, and then we'll jump back over to the garage and see them in there. Okay, so there we go, 1,000 for the Koenigsegg, and again, there's a spread across the middle, so we've got about 140 on average across the section there for 1,000 parts. So you've got an idea how many you would get. If you wanted, you probably don't need that many fusion parts for each section, each car. But if you did want to do that, you can have 1,000, maybe drop it down to 500 for across the whole lot. Or if you was just trying to pick for an individual one, so you've got most of them, you just wanted 1 or 2 blue, just add the 1 or 2 blue that you need. There's no need to add more than what you need, because you can always come back and add more in the future. So there we have it, guys. It could be complex when you get into those individual, if you're trying to go into individual parts, but if you're just going for a shotgun method where you're just going to hit the green, blue, pink, and then a number 7 across everything, you don't need to worry about searching for car codes, and you could just add 5,000 parts potentially, and just across the entire thing. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but if you're new to this sort of thing, that is definitely the easier way to go. I would probably recommend choosing the exact parts that you wanted. It's more time consuming, but it's a lot safer for your account if you was just to pick individual parts or an individual section for a car manufacturer. And adding only a few fusion parts that you need. So you could literally add 30 pink across the board, and you probably get 1 or 2 of each, and that might be enough for you. If you do have any questions, you get stuck, you can ask in the comments, or you can jump over onto my Discord. There is a link in the description. You can ask your questions there. There's a lot more people on there, and who are a lot more knowledgeable than I am with this sort of stuff, in particular with the NSB sort of editing. If you're interested in that, again, you can go ahead and ask on the Discord. We'll do our best to help you, and there should be videos coming soon about editing the NSB files in the future. So that's it, guys. This has been the GameExploiter. Happy hacking.